Okay, so how to stop overthinking and anxiety when you're AuDHD. Now, this is going to be different for everyone. For me in particular, I am mainly sensory seeking. So some of the things that I do for anxiety will be, mindful of that. One thing I've come to recognize is that with pattern recognition, it can be for my betterment and it can be for my detriment. And if I am in an overthinking spiral, I'm usually creating this massive pattern, which is making me more and more anxious and bringing more and more thoughts in, and it can be absolutely relentless. So one of the most useful things that I've found, or skills that I've developed, and that is the key here, it's like a skill that you practice rather than something that's going to happen straight away, is being able to recognize when I'm feeling anxious or when I'm in a complete thought spiral that's just getting louder and louder and faster, and see if I can start to observe the thoughts that are coming through. A lot of the time, the temptation is there to notice the thoughts that you're having and try and automatically change how you're feeling or change it to a positive thought. And a lot of the time, especially if you're already anxious, it just creates more anxiety because by trying to change it, you are resisting it. And the more you're resisting it, the more anxious you're going to feel. So I was actually talking about this yesterday when I was teaching one of my workshops, and saying that, you're trying to create that pause where you can notice the thoughts floating by and just observe them and not change them, just recognize what they are and try and practice like a non-attachment to them. And as I say, it's going to be a practice. Is when you've got thoughts that are coming through thick and fast, it's not going to be something that you're automatically going to get really good at. But the more that you can unhook from the thoughts that you're having and just observe them passing through, the easier it is going to be to drop into that sense of calm. And later on, you can journal on them and sort of be like, okay, so these are the most common thoughts that are coming through. Where's the truth in them? What's the truth in them? Where did I learn them? Is there something better that I could, start thinking instead? But in that moment, it's just trying to unhook from the thoughts and stop that flow of things that are feeding that anxiety. So to help with that process, another thing that is really, really helpful is to learn how to breathe, which maybe sounds really strange. It's an autonomic response. It's something that we do naturally without thinking, but the patterns or the ways of breathing aren't always necessarily helpful. When you are anxious, a lot of the time the breathing is quite shallow, short and sharp into the top part of the lungs. And if you're breathing ineffectively, you can find that the muscles in your chest, your shoulder, your neck and your jaw get really, really tight. So you could learn diaphragmatic breathing, where you're learning to breathe all the way down into your belly, which isn't like literally you're not breathing with your belly, but that's what we say. So you're learning to use your whole lungs, or alternatively the kind of breath work that you do with Pilates, where you're lightly engaging your core and you're breathing fully into your chest and feeling your rib cage expand, which can actually be really, really helpful form of breathing to learn.